Hi there BookTube, it's Eleanor here and it's time for a book haul. So today I've got quite a few books to show you that I've picked up or been sent over the last few weeks, so let's get straight into it. The first thing I want to show you is issue 6 of I Hate Fairyland. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you know I love this series. The first 5 issues made up a story arc, and unfortunately my issue 6 hasn't arrived yet, but it is in the post, so I shall be carrying on with this series with issues 6 and 7 as soon as I can. I didn't know it had come out again. I just happened to be in a comic book shop in Cambridge, and me and Charlotte from Ramblings of an Elfire were like, ah, look, they're out. So we picked them up and I can't wait. I love this series. It's about a young girl. She wishes that she could go to Fairyland. Her wish is granted, but in order to get out, she has to follow this sort of magical quest to get a key, which is meant to be super duper simple, but she can't do it. And so sort of 20 odd years later, she's still there. She's really jaded. She's like a gun-toting, swearing 20-odd-year-old in a baby's body, you know, toddler's body. It's just hilarious, and the artwork is so beautiful in this. It's so bright coloured and cartoonesque. I just love it. It's really, really good. Next up are 2 books which I have picked up from seeing on the lovely Jen Campbell's channel. Jen created or adapted the Try a Chapter tag to a Try a Story tag to try different short story collections and then pick the one you really fancy reading at the time. On Jen's version of the tag, she talked about 2 particular short story collections which I thought sounded brilliant, and I'm desperate to find myself that next 5-star read after Caris Bray's Sweet Home. So I picked up Lungs Full of Noise by Tessa Mellis. This sounds really dark and creepy, and the front cover is definitely creepy. I've heard this described as sort of Angela Carter-esque, so I'm really intrigued to try some of the stories in here. So the next short story collection that I've picked up is Thus Were Their Faces by Silvina Ocampo, with an introduction by Helen Oyeyemi. And this one says on the back that it's undoubtedly one of the 20th century's great masters of the story and novella. Here are tales of doubles and imposters, angels and demons, a marble statue of a winged horse that speaks, a beautiful seer who writes the autobiography of her own death, a lapdog who records the dreams of an old woman, a suicidal romance, and much else that is incredible, mad, sublime and delicious. So I can't wait to get stuck into this one as well. So yay for Jen for pushing these 2 forward to my attention. I can't wait to try them out. Next up was a book I picked up because I saw it on Mercedes' channels at Mercy's Bookish Musings, and I went shopping with her recently and we sort of talked a bit more about it, because originally I wasn't sure it was for me, whether it was a different type of book that I would normally pick up, but after chatting to her a bit and sort of picking it up to read the first few pages, I definitely think I'm going to enjoy it, and that is The Tidal Zone by Sarah Moss. I just love the cover of this book. From what Mercedes said to me, it's a story of a family, and something happens to the young girl in the family and they don't know why it's happened or what's happening or what's going on with her, some sort of medical problem, and the story unfolds and we discover what's going on. So I'm really intrigued by this one, and Mercedes said the writing in it was beautiful, so I can't wait to try it out and see what I think. Next up, I picked up a short story collection that I saw on the lovely Harriet from Harriet Rose's channel, and that is The Plagiarist by Hugh Howey. I love Hugh Howey's books. I love the Wool trilogy, and which is Wool, Shift and Dust, I think, and I've got a couple of his other books. And Harriet did a recent video about short story collections or short stories or short fiction that she'd really enjoyed, and she said that this one was really brilliant by Hugh Howey. So it says at the back, Adam Griffey is living 2 lives. By day he teaches literature, at night he steals it. Adam is a plagiarist, an expert reader with an eye for great works. He prowls simulated worlds, perusing virtual text, looking for the next big thing, and when he finds it, he memorises it page by page, line by line, word for word, and then he brings it back to his world, the real world, and he sells it. But what happens when these virtual worlds begin to seem more real than his own? What happens when the people within them mean more to him than flesh and blood? What happens when a living thing falls in love and with someone who doesn't exist? This is only around 60 pages long, and I've heard heard you can read it in one sitting and that it's brilliant, so I can't wait to try it out. Next up was a book that I was sent from one of my book subscriptions, and that is Carnival of Shadows by R.J. Ellery. I love the look of this. It's obviously something to do with circuses. It says Kansas 1959. A travelling carnival appears overnight in the small town of Seneca Falls, intriguing the townsfolk with acts of inexplicable magic and illusion. But then a man's body is discovered beneath the carousel with no clues as to his identity. FBI Special Agent Michael Travers is sent to investigate. Led by the elusive Edgar Doyle, the carnival folk range from the enigmatic to the bizarre, but none of them will give Travers a straight answer to his questions. With each new turn of the investigation, Doyle and his companions challenge Travers's once shakeable faith in solid fact and hard evidence. As the consequences of what has happened become even more disturbing, Travers struggles to open his mind to a truth that defies comprehension. Will he be able to convince himself that things are not what they seem, or will he finally reconcile himself to a new reality, one that threatens to undermine everything in which he has ever placed his trust? So this sounds really intriguing. I'm not normally one for crime stories, but this sounds like it might be interesting because it's set in a sort of carnival circus atmosphere. So I'm looking forward to trying it out and seeing what I think. Next, I was sent 2 books for review. The first was straight from the author themselves, Janetta James, who has written a book called The Elizabeth Papers. This is a Pride and Prejudice retelling, I believe. It says on the back, Charlie Hayward is a London-based private investigator who's made his own fortune on his own terms. Charming, cynical and promiscuous, he never expected to be attracted to Evie Pemberton, an independent-minded artist living with the aftermath of tragedy. But when he's hired to investigate her claims to a 150-year-old trust belonging to the eminent Darcy family, he's captivated. Together they become entwined in a Regency tale of love, loss and mystery, tracing back to the grand estate of Pemberley, home to Evie's 19th century ancestors, Fitzwilliam and Elizabeth Darcy. So this isn't a retelling. This is sort of a story which is further in the future to Pride and Prejudice, as if they were the ancestors. That's brilliant. Oh, I really love that idea. And we're just following that. So it's there's an 1817 Elizabeth Darcy had a secret journal, and this just sounds really interesting. I've heard it's sort of a Regency romance and I love the idea of this, so I can't wait to try it out. So thank you to Janetta for sending this to me. Next up, I got a copy of My Lady Jane, the not entirely true story by Hand, Ashton and Meadows, and this is Cynthia Hand, Brodie Ashton and Jodie Meadows. They've all joined together to write this together. This is from Walker Books. I heard them talk about this at an event recently and I just thought it sounded hilarious, and normally not the sort of book that I would pick up. I think it is middle grade, so it's aimed at sort of more of an 11 to 14-year-old audience, but it just sounded so hilarious when they were talking about it. The back says, Dearest Jane, sorry I made you marry a horse. Your father-in-law is trying to kill me. Send help. This is the story of a real Queen of England, not the nasty version where her head is chopped off, but the one with lots of humour, romance and galloping around. Lady Jane must keep her wits to survive, but it's tricky when your downfall is being plotted and your new husband forgets to tell you that he turns into a horse. I just think this sounds hilarious, so I can't wait to try it out. So thank you to Walker Books for sending me this. So that's the books that I've picked up recently. No doubt there will be more soon, so watch out for those. Let me know if you've read any of these, if any of them intrigue you, and I look forward to chatting to you soon. Bye for now, BookTube.